Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yes.
hear you, Natasha. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, good. Right. We can start. Uh, we have completed the activity-based costing. I sent you the new lesson, the modern manufacturing concepts. It's all about the total quality management, appraisal, cost, etc., etc. Did you have time to go through the
Yeah.
slides?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, right. Then can we start straight away with the questions? Or
Okay.
you want to go through the slides?
Uh, I think we should go for a slide again. Yeah, because I've checked them 3 days ago.
Okay. Yeah, just I mean, I don't need to go to all the slides, but few slides we will go through. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't need to go to all the slides because you can because I have given all the slides in lot of details, but just to discuss in the background, the compared to 20 years, 30 years time business and today's business, the change, what has happened. And the change is all in the environment. The speed of communication, the new technology has brought about such a big change in all our way of looking at business, because ultimately at the end of the day, the customer has got a bigger choice today. Customer is not limited to just looking to buy from UK. He can go anywhere in the world and buy it through online, through websites, all that. So because of that, the businesses need to be very much focused on customer needs, customer requirements. And in your E1, you would have come across E1, E2, you would have come across, or rather E1, you would have come across to get an advantage, or what we call a competitive advantage. There are two ways. One is to get a cost leadership, where your costs are very much under control. So you can do much better than your competitors and probably set the price at a lower price than the competitor, or your product should be something unique, something different from what the competitor is producing. So the customer will go for your product, maybe because of your good branding, maybe because of your good reputation, whatever the reason. There has to be something very unique in your product which makes the customer buy your product. So looking from that angle, I think the whole concept of the change is trying to satisfy the customer, and the customer's demands are changing almost every day, every hour, I would say, because he can see a lot of new products. So he is not interested in buying the old product. He wants something new, something different all the time. So because of that, the manufacturers also need to be very much focused on new designs, new developments. And for all that, what they do is they use this technology in a very big way all the time. So this is exactly what we are talking about as the modern business environment. So if you really look at this environment, it's simply your flexibility to adapt to the customer requirements. Earlier, long time back, the manufacturers, they decided their manufacturing schedule. They thought they will manufacture 2 month stocks, 3 month stocks, keep it, and they were trying to use economies of scale. They were trying to use many standardized practices, standard costing, standard quality, but today they can't do that one. They have to be looking all the time to satisfy the customer, and that has become what we call a critical success factor. Critical success factor is something that has to go right if we have to achieve the objective. So for that purpose, all the time the businesses need to be very, very flexible in their approach. they should be custom oriented, not product oriented. Not internal, they should be more externally focused, trying to see what the customer requires and adopt the changes according to that one. So because of that one, now you don't have this product cycle going for 10 years, 15 years. When you launch a product, the product maximum product period may be 1-2 years. In fact, this time the P2 case study for November is all about mobile telephone industry, and basically they are thinking a maximum of 2-year life period. So your NPV analysis of 5 years and 10 years is becoming outdated because the things will change so fast. So for that purpose, you should be able to do things fast. And that is what we call new world-class manufacturing. And what they do is they use 3 main techniques, which I want to look at very carefully with you. Something called total quality management, something called customer relationship management, and something called flexible manufacturing systems. So these are the 3 new tools which were not used much earlier, being used, and I suppose this is the difference in the way that we do business. So we will look at total quality management, we will look at CRM, and we will look at flexible management. So when you have all these 3 together, or these 3 approaches, we call it AMT, Advanced Manufacturing Technologies. These are some of the short questions. You might have it in the paper, asking the advanced manufacturing technology, what are the key windows. So it's total quality management, CRM, flexible manufacturing systems. So simply has become very relevant for us because today the modern business use lot of AMT. That is, you use total quality management, you use the customer relationship management, and you use the flexible manufacturing systems. What is customer relationship management, Natasha? What is it? CRM.
Customer relationship management.
Yeah.
It's, how you satisfy the customers.
Yeah, that's the normal, I mean, the way that we look at. But today, if you look at, there's something called a software. I'm sure when you go to a supermarket, they will give you something called a loyalty card, and they will know your birthday, they will know your wedding anniversary, and they will, through that loyalty card, will try to spot what and what Natasha is purchasing, and during which time of the month, which time of the week she is coming to the supermarket or whatever. So they have lot of details of the customers even without the customer realizing. When you go on airline, they will ask you to fill a form, and they get lot of details about you without you realizing, and they put all that on their database, and they have all the details of the particular customer. They know during which period of the month they come for shopping, what kind of things they are shopping. Now surely they must be knowing that obviously you are looking for baby products, that kind of thing. So they will try to target you for particular products, and then they will send you an e-flyer, they will send you an email saying the new arrivals, new things, all that. So basically the merchant has a good grip on the customer. They entice.
All right.
Hmm?
That software is called CRM, yeah?
Exactly.
So if we buy that software for the business,
right.
we can grip on the customers to know their interest and their details.
Exactly. Yeah? That is what when you go to a hotel, they will do that one, all that kind of a thing, and then they will send you the new menus, new arrivals. Now they know most of the time that I do buy a lot of books from eBay, and they know that I'm a good book customer. So whenever a new book comes, they will send me an email saying, especially for Kumar, these books are available, that kind of. So that's the way they target the market. They try to personalize and get your attention, and they will send you a birthday card, they will send you a wedding anniversary, something, gift, all that kind of a thing. Banks, they do it. Banks, they know exactly, everything about you. So they will try to entice you to make deposits, investments, loans, all that kind of a thing. So that is done through a software. Every time when you go and then swipe that card, without realizing, they give you some loyalty points, all that, but what they get is lot of information about your buying power. Even to the extent they will know the combination of the things you buy. Is it tea and sugar, or sugar and tea, or milk, or whatever, they know exactly through the software. They can analyze, and they will even try to work out the supermarket layout according to your requirement. Or looking at the most of the customers, if they see people buy sugar and the tea almost together, they will try to keep sugar and tea wherever closer. So that's what the customer relationship management. We will come to total quality management in a second. Then the other one is what we call flexible management system or manufacturing systems, where we try to be focused on the customer. So if the customer says, I want something tomorrow, I will try to give that need. You can see our INSAF people doing that very well. They try to look at the customer, that is our student, and they try to cater according to the student's need. If you say that Kumar is not a good tutor, they will provide you with another new tutor because they want to satisfy the student. Now earlier, there was no option for us. We go for a class, whether the lecturer is sleeping or standing or sitting, we just have to listen to him. We had no other alternate. But today, you all have lot of alternates because the customer has lot of choices. So because of that, it's better customer focused, more flexible production systems, and surely with that more employee participation. The decisions have to be taken on the spot. So you can't go back to your boss, you can't go back to the board of directors, get a board approval, everything. You have to make decisions so fast. And we work in a global environment. In fact, we are working 24/7 because when you are sleeping, America is up. So Americans will be giving you calls the time when you are sleeping. When we are sleeping, Australia is up. So Australia will start giving calls. So we have to work on many different clocks. We can't just work by UK clock. We can't just work by Sri Lanka clock. We need to work through many different clocks. That is what the global environment is. And surely, because of the rapidly changing environment, the people's tastes are becoming changed every minute, every hour, every day, and therefore you have to be, don't try to think of producing something which is going to be in the shelf for next 10 years. That kind of product is completely gone. If you really go to a supermarket, and if you can see a picture 10 years back and a picture 10 years later, you will see the products what they had 10 years earlier is no longer in their shelves. Even if it is same sugar, it is in a different package, different cover. Even if it has sugar, it is now in maybe 200 grams or 100 grams or whatever in small packets. So like that, and the people are becoming health conscious. They want organic vegetables, organic foods, all sorts of things are happening. So the what you produced 10 years back is not what the people are asking today. And I'm sure tomorrow the people will be asking another new product. So therefore you can't plan a product for 4 years, 5 years. You have to think of very short life cycle. You remember every product goes through 4 stages. Growth stage, introductory stage, the growth stage, the maturity stage, and the decline stage. So every product goes through 4 stages. Immediately when you introduce a product, there is so much of attraction. Then if the product is good, it will grow. Then it will stabilize. Then after some time, people are bored of the product. It will go into the decline. You can see mobile phones, every 6 months, it goes into decline because a new product is coming up. So you have to think of very short life cycles. So that means you have to recover your cost very fast. You don't have too much of time to wait. And of course, quality. People are becoming very quality conscious. They want to be not only quality of the product, even whether the organization itself is environmental friendly. Are they polluting the environment? The people are becoming very, very conscious about everything what the business people are doing, and therefore you have to be focused on your environmental aspects, corporate social responsibility, ethical aspects. How you treat your employees also can have an impact upon your product finally which comes into the market. A lot of things what we have here, but I'm not going to into all the details of here. It's simply trying to have a kind of a low cost, high quality product all the time, and for that what you do is you use computers to do product designs. You use the computers to test products. Even to manufacture products, you use the computer. You can see when we go to do a blood test or whatever, all the things are done in the computer. Within 2 hours, your test reports, everything is out, released, everything. Those days you would have had to wait for so many days to get your reports. Because of that one, what has happened is the companies have to come out with diverse range of products. You simply cannot live on one particular product. You have to have many range of products. Life cycles have got reduced, and your earlier absorption costing, standard costing is becoming heavily outdated. So we use something called new thing called throughput accounting, where we look at the only material cost as a variable cost. All the other costs we consider it as fixed cost or not really relevant. So it's only the material cost we will try to work it through, and to the material we add value, and that is what we call throughput. And this is what the new accounting concepts which is coming into the streamline nowadays. We want to talk about this one, total quality management. So as the name says, it has 3 words, total quality management. So if you remember, long time back, even now some of the old firms they have what we call a quality control department. And they are responsible for the quality. None of the others are responsible. The others will just go on producing, but the quality control department will just check the product, and then they will say QC certified or QC rejected, and that's how it works. But today in the modern environment, that system is not good. Everyone from the garbage cleaner to the chairman and the CEO, everyone is focused on the company's product quality, the company's service quality. So everyone gets involved. And it's not only your company people who gets involved, even outsiders, what we call the value chain, your supplier is also responsible to give you good quality raw material. Because we are fighting with time. We manufacture most of the products on what we call just-in-time concept. Just at 7:30, the product is coming out of the factory machine, and the container is at your compound at 8 o'clock in the evening to take the product to the ship. The ship is sailing at 11 o'clock in the night. So that kind of a pressure is inbuilt into the business today. So you have no time once the product comes at 7:30, again to go and check the quality. So whilst the product is being processed, the quality is checked at every stage, and when the product comes at 7:30 from the final machine, it is just packed and straight away sent into the container, and then it will go to America. So that's the kind of a pressure that is built up on the people. No doubt the business people are heavily stressed up because they have to do work in such a crazy environment, I would say. My son-in-law is the big man in a big garments factory in Bangladesh. They are exporting all these ladies' clothing to America, and for that purpose, they have to do it on. They are almost doing it on just in time. So sometimes even when he's here in Sri Lanka, he has his telephone fixed to the camera. He watches the factory in Bangladesh through the camera, and then he will shout and scream. So sometimes when I ask him why he's shouting and screaming, he says, I have to send the ship, I have to send the goods at 11 o'clock. Now it's 10 o'clock, still they are doing it. So he's shouting from Sri Lanka, so many thousand kilometers away to Bangladesh, because the goods will have to go to America in another 3 hours time. So that's the kind of a line, and therefore you can see everyone need to get committed to the quality. Your supplier should get committed to give the best raw material. Your machine supplier should be giving you the best machine. Your man who is maintaining the machines should maintain the machines on the spot, because if he delays it, your whole process will come to a halt. Raw material is good, people are good, but your chain will break because the machine is not running at the proper speed, because the machine is not properly serviced. And so the employees, every employee has a role to play, and that's not enough, even the customer, because the customer demands quality. So therefore the customer must specify which quality he requires. So you work in a chain. That is what we call the value chain. Value chain is you, the manufacturer, the supplier on one side, and the customer on the other side. All are linked to a particular chain, and any breakages in the chain will be disasters. That is why in a company that is working on a total quality management concept, we'll have the factory layout in such a way that everyone can see almost everything what's happening. In one area, if the things are not happening, a red light will start blinking. Everyone can see. Everyone will run to that place and see how they can make that functional, because they can't afford to have red lights anywhere. Quality. So quality earlier, long time back, quality was defined by the business. We decide the quality. We say our quality is this and that's all. But today we can't decide the quality. Quality is decided by the customer. Customer specifies exactly what he requires. A 1 inch or even a half a centimeter difference, customer will reject the product. So you have to be extremely focused on the quality, not from your point of view, from the customer's point of view. I remember Sri Lanka, I mean not in Sri Lanka, all over the world, the drinking water, there's a minimum standard specified by the World Health Organization. So long as you produce water to that minimum standard, we are all right. So I was in the water sector in Sri Lanka. We were producing water meeting that standard. But the consumers later on said, no. This standard is not good enough. We want better water. If you all can't provide that better water, we will go for bottled water. People have many other options. So customer is the king. Customer was always the king, but I think the true kingship has come to the customer today. He can demand, dictate, and if you don't get it, You can go to Facebook, put up a big this thing, which can make a big damage to the organization. That is what means by quality. Okay? Management. Management is everyone is getting involved. It is a kind of a proactive management. You don't wait till the product comes from the machine to see the quality. At every point, the quality is checked. So we simply prevent rejected products or something defective products coming up. So for this purpose, there are three main principles. First thing is, as I said, get it right first time. You simply don't have time to recycle, to rework, or to recheck. So first time, when it comes out of the factory machine, it should be perfect, 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 that it can go straight to the container that is waiting to take the goods out of the country. Continuous improvement. You are never satisfied with what you have got. This is the Japanese concept called Kaizen approach. They are never satisfied with what they have got. They want more and more and more improvement. So that is what the total quality management, the second attribute. Third one, it is always customer focused. It is the customer who decides the quality, not we. We must meet the customer requirement. That is what the TQM. You can see it's almost a complete reverse from what we would have seen in business 30 years back. We were never worried about getting it right first time. Never thinking of improvements. You just do what has to be done, the minimum, and that's all. We were never customer focused. We were product focused. We were looking at our machines. We were looking at our things and trying to do it. TQM works on three principles: get it right, continuous improvement, and customer focus. TQM works on a top to bottom approach. From the chairman onwards, everyone is quality conscious, everyone is customer focused. So for that purpose, what they do.
I have a question.
Yeah.
That total quality management is a responsibility for a chartered accountant as well?
Yes. Yes.
So that means we have to go personally and check the product.
Yeah, it's not only the product what we are looking at. When we talk about the quality, we look at the service we give to the customer. We may not be chartered accountant, may not be very good in checking the quality because we are not the quality experts. But when I say quality, it's not only the product quality. It is the service we give to the customer. Do we send the invoice to him on time? Do we see that a right invoice goes to him? That is also part of your product.
Okay.
Because every one of us, now the garbage cleaner has nothing to do with the quality of the product, but he must ensure that the factory place is properly kept so that the people can work well. If he is not going to clean the garbage, your employees will fall sick and they may not be able to contribute towards that good quality product. So when you say quality, it's not only putting up that, Coca-Cola into that nice pack and sending it. There is a big bundle of services involved in the quality. So chairman has to ensure that his board of directors people who are quality conscious. So what it means is everyone, whether you're a chartered accountant, CIMA accountant, HR manager, everyone is focused about his own department providing the quality service what is expected of him. If the chartered accountant is not doing the right invoicing at the right time, even your best production manager doing and giving the best product, customer will never be satisfied. The customer will say the finance division is useless, they are sending wrong invoices. Sometimes look at our telephone bills, right? The service, everything is good, but the bill is horrible. They overcharge you, they do something, and they don't give credit to the payments you have made, you get really crazy. You would get crazy not because of the telephone service is bad, but you get crazy because the billing is bad, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
so basically how you manage is in every area you have something called a quality circle. So in the finance division, the finance director or the finance manager might appoint or 4 or 5 people will voluntarily get together from different areas of the finance to see that the finance division as a whole meets the quality requirements what is expected of the finance. HR division will have certain, say 4 to 6 people, but they form as a quality circle to find out have they done their job, have they addressed all the grievances of the staff, etc., etc. So basically, quality circles are a voluntary in approach. They will identify the problems and they will see, analyze where the problems are, why the quality of the HR is not proper, why the quality of the finance division is not proper, why the quality of credit control is not proper, why the product quality is not proper. The different quality circles will analyze and will come out with solutions to the management. So it is the management's responsibility to listen to these quality circles, find out whatever the things they are suggesting and see whether they can be implemented. I remember I was working in a company. We had a big warehouse and that warehouse was not properly maintained at all. All the time dust and goods all over. So I remember I told one of my people, why don't you go and put some boards there saying, please keep your stores clean and something. So there were some nice boards, but all the boards were done in English wording. We saw still with those boards, still the same attitude prevailed. Later on, I got a young little girl, 18-year-old girl, who started work. I told her, why don't you go and spend little time in the warehouse and find out and let me know, how we can improve it. 2 days later, 3 days later, she came and told me, sir, there's a problem. You have put up all those boards in English language. None of those people can understand or read English because our native language is totally a different language. So what she said was, you must put those boards in our native language. Brilliant idea coming from an 18-year-old girl. And I changed that one and I put some boards in our native language. Next week, the whole thing got changed. People understood it. So we put in it in English, no one understood it. So we must, as the management, we must be responsive enough to listen to those ideas and try to work through these ideas. That is the success of a quality control. And that will happen because it's a voluntary approach. They are not being paid extra, but they work and we must recognize. There are two terms which I want you to learn it because this is a famous examiner's question. Business process re-engineering and the other one is continuous improvement. So total quality management goes on continuous improvement, what we call Kaizen system, the Japanese system. You are never satisfied with what you have achieved. You want to do something better, better, better every day, every hour if possible. So even when the people do something good, you don't appreciate it because you say, can't do something better. And you go on doing continuous improvement. The other one, opposite side of that is what we call business process re-engineering, BPR. Here, we don't do little changes. We do one big radical change. We think the way we are doing sales is not good. We must appoint agents. So we will think about appointing agents and do one big radical change, not little improvement. So that is what we call business process re-engineering. We look at everything what has happened and make some one-off changes to improve operations, and that is a major change. Continuous improvement, little changes every day, every month. This is the important subject which I want to touch it. This is all what I'm going to chat on the slides. The quality cost. Now, to maintain the quality of a product, we have to incur certain costs. If you want to maintain a good product, you must get the right people, right raw materials. So those are what we generally call the prevention cost. Getting right people to work by recruiting the right people, but that's a costly thing. To get advertised, interview, select people, it's a costly thing. Now army, any forces, they will spend a lot of time in the recruitment. They want to see that they get only the right people. They don't want the criminals to come into the army. So they will look at, so there's a cost involved to selection process, interviews. You can't just ask people to walk in interviews for the army. So like that, you get the people. So that is what we call the prevention cost. And then during the, so you get the rights, you select the right suppliers, they give the raw materials. During the process of manufacturing, you will test the quality at every stage, and that's what we call appraisal cost. So before the product is finished, it is checked at every stage, and now the product that is coming from the machine will be a top quality product. But to come up to that point, we have to spend a lot of money, prevention cost and appraisal cost. If you don't spend money on prevention and appraisal, then of course what happens is you have to spend a lot of money on what we call internal failure cost. What do you mean by internal failure? The product has come out of the machine, but now you realize, oh, it's a useless product. So either you have to scrap it or you have to do something again. So lot of time wasted, lot of money wasted. So when you spend little on prevention, little on appraisal, you might be spending more on internal failure cost. And if you don't spend even at internal failure, if you don't look at that point, the product will go to the market. Oh, then the market will shout and scream saying, this is a useless product, a lot of returns, warranty claims, guarantee claims, all that, and your reputation will suffer. That is a big cost. So you have to balance these. So you have to look at how to prevent, how to do good appraisal. If you can do that kind of a thing, you might be able to save on internal failure and external failure. But we can't afford in a competitive market to spend a lot on prevention and appraisal. Sometimes we might have to take little risk. My daughter was in the hospital last year, same time. So in a particular floor, they had 16 nurses to cater for the patients. So they had about, I think about eight rooms in that particular floor, 16 nurses. So their service is super. I mean, there was nothing to report because you ring the bell, 2 or 3 nurses will come straight into the room. But suddenly I found when I next admitted my daughter, they didn't have that kind of 16 nurses. They had only 8 nurses. So I saw a kind of a drop in the service. Then I asked the chairman and the CEO, hey, what happened? They said, too much of a cost to prevent a customer complaint. So they had to take a risk, reduce the staff by 50% and try to see whether they can still manage it. People were complaining. Compared to the earlier situation, people were complaining. But still, they managed to do it at a lower cost without a big damage. So they have to balance it because you can't keep on doing lot on prevention and lot of appraisal because finally the product will become so expensive. It's zero defect, but you may not be able to sell it because it's so costly. So if you look at total quality management and standard costing, they are at loggerheads. Total quality management, we look at continuous improvement. Standard costing, we look at standard quality. So long as we have achieved the quality, that's all. We don't want to improve on the quality and spend more money. So you can see they are working against, and standard costing is becoming somewhat outdated with the new TQM coming. When you want to implement TQM, surely it should come up from the very top to the bottom. Everyone must be focused. You must have a way of measuring performance. You must recognize the people who contribute towards good quality, and you must your way of life should be quality. Everyone should be talking about quality. Every board meeting, they should be talking about the quality. As I said, it's not really about the quality of the product, quality of the finance division service, quality of the HR division service, quality of the marketing people, quality of the branding people. Everything ultimately gets into the product quality. Basically, because of this one, now our management information, what we have to give, should be more focused on quality and quality related cost, how much time we spent on downtime because our quality was bad. We had to redo the work, reworks, and how much of money we lost because the customers started returning their goods. So the management information is not the earlier kind of information, usage variance, labor rate variance. They are still being used, but now we are looking for more meaningful information. We want to see how much we have got in these. So these are some of the slides. And as I said, the non-financial measures, this is all about the balance scorecard. It's not only financials. We look at the customer perspective. We look at the internal business perspective. We look at the learning and innovation. These are the few. Yeah, sorry.
The slide just just gone, yeah.
Okay.
The font color is yellow. So when I printed that off, it was I read it. So if you could please, if it's in black, it'd be easier for me to.
Okay, right, yeah. We will do it next time when we do it in black. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Because actually what I did was I
can't see it on the screen.
Okay. Yeah, because earlier I had a black background because I removed the black background for you. But now I see when I remove the black background, the yellow color becomes a little bit, not contrasting now. Yes, I will do that one, sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, the one little slide, just in time. What is just in time? Just in time simply work on two principles. We produce goods, we don't produce goods and keep it. We produce goods only when the customer needs it. If the customer needs it at 12 o'clock, we will produce it at 11:45. We can see that container is being loaded just from the factory. As the goods are finished, so you don't have finished goods inventory in the stores. This is the ideal just in time because you don't want to keep inventory. If you keep in inventory, is a very costly item. You have to tie up money. You have to tie up your warehouse space. You have to have a lot of people to look after, and sometimes it can get damaged. It can get perished. So it is given when they are needed. So only when the customer wants. And because,
we don't have that problem. Sorry, I have a question. We don't have the problem when we are doing services.
Yeah, right. Services because we don't have an inventory, so we don't have that problem. Yeah. But manufacturing or trading, we can have this situation, and people are, this is again a Japanese technique, people are trying, not that they have got 100% success, but at least they try to minimize the inventory. I told you my son-in-law works in this big garments factory. He's the big man, and he must ensure that whether he's in Sri Lanka or whether he's in Bangladesh, it does not matter. He must ensure wherever he is, but when the container comes, the goods are ready for it to go to USA. And therefore, because we are producing goods only when the customer wants, we will also buy our raw materials and other supplies from our suppliers only when we want to produce. So we try to keep a zero raw material scenario also. So basically, just the raw materials will come, will manufacture, and will get out. So you can see it needs lot of close coordination, communication between the supplier, the manufacturer, and the customer. So this is where sometimes this enterprise resource planning software systems can work. Every time when the manufacturer sends goods, supplier knows he needs raw materials now. So immediately he will send the raw material. So it works on a value chain where everyone works on a particular time. So this is what it is. So in the extreme form, it tries to have zero inventory. Not that everyone has succeeded in zero inventory, but I suppose very sure, people will endeavor to get zero inventory. Okay, so that's the slides which I want to do it. I want to quickly look at some other questions which I sent it to you. I want to send you some more questions. But let's look at the questions I've already sent. Let's look at the first question. Which two of the following are not features of a just-in-time purchasing and production system? So as I said, just-in-time is producing only when the customer wants, and buying raw materials and everything when we want to produce it. So which two of them are not features? So in other words, we have to see what are the features of a just-in-time and what is not feature, we must remove it. So maximum capacity utilization. Is it a feature in JIT?
Yeah.
I don't think so, because JIT works not on your plant capacity, it works on the customer's needs. You can produce 100,000, but customer needs only 10,000. So you produce only 10,000. Earlier system, we produce the entire 100,000 because we want to maximize the capacity utilization. We will produce 100,000, keep the 90,000 in inventory. Today we don't do that one. If it is JIT system, even though the machine has a capacity of 100, we will only produce 10 because the customer wants 110. So I think A is not a feature of just-in-time, and I think that's the right answer. Second one, pull scheduling. Buying or producing at each stage of the supply chain only when the next stage wants the output. I think that is a feature of just-in-time, isn't it?
Yeah.
You buy only. That is what we call pull scheduling. You are pulled to buy only when the other party wants it. Then we have the C, the Kanban control, used in a system of signaling work requirement using cards or other signaling devices. What it means is because you are just in time, you must work at the clock speed. So if something is not working, there has to be some way to communicate through what we call a card system or through a red light system saying, hey, this machine is broken. So immediately people will attend to that because they can't just wait without attending because the flow will have to go. So that is also part of the just-in-time system. You are almost in the same factory flow, same layout, in the same premises. Everyone's eyes can see just 100 meters away, one machine is not working and a red light is flashing. Everyone will run to that one and see that it is repaired or done, because otherwise what you do is useless because it can't pass that machine and the whole thing will stop. and you can't afford to stop and wait. So that is what we call Kanban control. Greater visibility of what is going on, such as open plan work layouts, colored slide to indicate. So that is also something like C. The D, it's everyone can see what's happening. You know, you don't talk on intercoms and telecoms. You can see everything and you try to work it through that one. And today we have this CCTV cameras fixed to the telephone. From the telephone, you can see everything. Even if your physical eyes are not there, still you can see all what is happening now. So B, C and D are features of a just-in-time. Let's look at the E. Relying on a wide range of suppliers for raw materials to ensure immediate availability of items. Actually, in a just-in-time, you don't go for wide range of suppliers. You go for a limited range, reliable suppliers. Because I can't afford to go and buy from everyone. I don't know whether they will give me when I want it. So I want some very reliable suppliers. So I have a limited number of suppliers who will give me goods whenever I need it. So my answer will be A and E for this question. B, second question is also something just like that. See whether you can get the answer for the second question. A system which is driven by demand of finished goods whereby each component is produced only when needed for the next stage. B, system with material purchase are contracted receipt to the maximum extent percent coincide. D, system that's convenient to a listing. So yes, A, B, C, D. What is your answer? What is just in time? What is just in time?
Commercial production schedule into listing for materials. I think it's A.
A is the right answer, correct? Yeah, because A is which is a system which is demand driven by the finished product. Because it's a finished product's demand that will decide our production plan and all that. So A is the right answer. Now let's look at the cost that we were talking about. Which one of the following costs is classified as quality related appraisal cost? So remember we talk about 4 costs: prevention, appraisal, internal failure, external failure. Prevention is all what we do before the process starts. Appraisal is something what we do during the process. Internal failure is before the product goes out to the market. External failures after the product has gone to the market. So let's look at this question number 3. Which one of the following cost is classified as a quality related appraisal cost? So appraisal means something. Pardon?
A, reinspection cost.
Reinspection cost. Reinspection cost. Reinspection happens after the product is done, Natasha. That's an internal failure cost. Isn't it? Reinspection happens after the thing is happening. Administration of customer complaint section, it is because of external failure. Look at the C. It is performance testing. It is happening during the period, during the process. The performance tested during the process. So C should be the right answer. Fourth one, a training in quality control is, I think, is more of a prevention cost. So I think the answer should be C. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at the next one. 3 of the following contribute to successful implementation of JIT. Which 3 of the following contribute to successful implementation of JIT? So we have to find 3. If we are going for a JIT, 3 main things we need to do first to have a successful implementation of JIT. Look at the first one.
First one, yes, A.
Yeah. First one is definitely yes, isn't it? You have to have a very close relationship with your suppliers. Good. Second one.
How about D?
D. D is non-perishable finished goods. Yeah, non-perishable finished goods. Non-perishable finished goods, actually, you don't need a just-in-time. If you want, you can keep the goods. Perishable goods, you must have JIT, isn't it? Perishable goods means you can't keep it for long. So it must be produced just in time, like restaurants producing the food. So I don't think D is right. So for successful implementation of JIT, the first one is right.
B.
B is
And
right.
B as well.
Yeah, B is right. Minimal setup time and cost, because if you are going to have because you have to go on changing all the time setups, because you're going on a very flexible production plan. So you have to change. So if the setup cost and time is very costly, then that's not a good place to introduce JIT. So B is correct. Look at E. Similar production time across of all stage of the production process. So that's also important, because if your time is going to change every time, some process is going to take 2 hours, another process is going to take 5 minutes, then there will be a bottleneck. Isn't it? There will be a bottleneck, because 5-minute man will come and then you have to wait for 2 hours. So
Kumar, what is bottleneck?
What is that?
Bottleneck. I've just read that as well in my book.
The bottleneck is where, the things will come to a halt. Now imagine, to manufacture the collar of a shirt, it takes 2 hours. But to put the buttons, it takes only 5 minutes. And now, if there is a big queue of 2-hour things coming and stay in there, because of the 5-minute button thing is not working, there's a bottleneck. Bottleneck means the whole chain gets blocked up. So sometimes it may be your machine not working properly. Sometimes some inefficient laborers, they cause a bottleneck. Bottleneck means your chain is not going very smoothly. It comes and stops somewhere. Is it clear?
So that means insufficient availability
of resources. It can be
resource.
It can be due to insufficient availability of resources or inefficient use of resources.
Okay.
If you have some inefficient people in a particular section, say packaging section, you have some inefficient people. So other areas are all very efficient people. They produce and send it. And if the packaging people are going to stay there for 3 hours doing the packing, that is a bottleneck. And that bottleneck must be removed for you to drive it smoothly. Mostly it is insufficient resources. Maybe in the throughput accounting, we always have the bottleneck, maybe not having enough machine hours, not having enough labor hours, or whatever it may be. Right. Question number 5. Three of the following arguments against using variance analysis and standard costing in a TQM environment. So I told you standard costing and variance analysis are loggerheads with TQM environment. So if you are using TQM, you can't use variance analysis and standard costing. So what are the 3 arguments against using standard costing in a TQM environment? Look at the standard costing to be useful for control purposes. It requires a reasonably stable environment, which is right, isn't it? Standard costing means it's a very standard production. So that is against the TQM environment. TQM means it's an environment that is changing all the time. So the A is the right answer because it is against the TQM environment. Look at the B. The ethos behind the system of standard costing is that performance is satisfactory if it's meet predetermined standards, which is right. The standard costing goes on meeting a predetermined standard. But TQM goes no predetermined standards, continuous improvement. So there again, it is against the TQM environment. So A and B are right answers. Look at the C. Cost is not important in a TQM environment. That is wrong. Whether it is in standard costing or TQM, cost is important. Everyone is worried about the cost. So that is not a right argument against TQM. The control aspect of standard costing system is achieved by making individual managers responsible for the variances relating to their part of the organization activities. So basically what it says is the control aspect of standard costing system is to fix the responsibility on a particular manager. We ask the variance from the particular manager. Why did you hire labor at a higher rate? Why did you buy the materials at a higher rate? But in the TQM, we don't ask one person. The entire body of the company is responsible for quality. That's why we call it total quality management. So for me, the three items which is going against the standard costing system for against the TQM is A, B, and D. A, B, and D. For the sixth one, which two of the following are not features of world-class manufacturing? So we know surely TQM is world-class manufacturing. What about the other one?
World-class manufacturing.
Yeah. So we discussed a little bit about world-class manufacturing. So world-class manufacturing, yeah, yes.
Mass production, is it?
Pardon?
Sorry?
Yeah.
Mass production, D.
Yeah, I think yes. I think mass production is not a feature of world-class manufacturing. And the other one is absorption costing, isn't it? Absorption costing is also not a feature of the world-class manufacturing. In the world-class manufacturing, dedicated cell production, that is you produce it according to the customer requirement, and total quality management are the features of a world-class manufacturing. So C and D are not right. Okay, yeah. So I'll try to. I think I have the answers for this. I'll try to pick up the answers and send it to you for these questions. So yes, with that we have finished that area. Then I think our next subject should be break-even analysis.
Sorry, which one?
Break-even analysis. Break-even.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, that is our next. Yeah.
Kumar, you know the chapter we just discussed today. Okay. I couldn't find that in the textbook of BPP.
Yeah, I think in BPP, just a minute. I think BPP they have questions. So now for a second, I'll tell you.
No, that chapter I couldn't find there.
In the BPP book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, just a minute. I think it came under some others, other heading. I think. Give me a second. No, I have it. PPP. The first chapter. Modern business concepts.
Business concept. Okay.
Yeah, modern business concepts. That's the one.
Right, okay. Yeah. And could you please send me the, last time we discussed, you said you're going to send me like the numbering of the chapters we're going to discuss, or we're going to, study.
Yeah, now next one.
So like syllabus. Yeah, syllabus.
Yeah, okay, I will send you that one. I didn't send it. No, I'll send it to you now, yes.
Okay, so answers and the break even,
yeah.
the slides, yeah, and plus the last one of the course, the syllabus, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that one. I'll send you that one. Yes, sure.
Okay.
Okay, so are we meeting? How are you on Monday?
Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay, yeah, just let me know early. If it is not, otherwise we can make it next Friday.
Sorry?
Yeah, if Monday or Friday, I'm all right.
Is there, okay, so recording is finished now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it okay if I could do like once a week?